Good afternoon to everyone at the LMT and from the LMT. What an elite afternoon it is.
Elite Eight, I would say, Ryan.
Correct. It's been a while, so let's get you guys up before we start going with the Elite Eight recap or Elite Eight discussion. It's been a while, so we have a lot of catching up to do. Juan, do you want to start us off with what happened in Devotee?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, in Devotee region, Indiana are reigning champions, still holding on strong. They've had a couple tough matchups, but they've been able to stay strong. Northern Illinois coming through. Unfortunately, just couldn't overtake Indiana in our last round. Alabama was staying strong and looks like a heavy contender in the Devotee region, but Michigan State surprisingly got a wild card after they were knocked out by Oklahoma. And what ended up happening is that Michigan came ready to play again. So obviously they're moving on, and of course, Elite Eight. What more can be said? I mean, there were ups, downs, lefts, rights. 32, yeah. 16s. Now it's 8s.
Yeah, that's how math works, right? You eventually dwindle down to 1.
That's what I've been told. Yeah.
You're the mathematician here, not me.
Yeah, I am an accountant.
So as we all know, these two are Big Ten conference foes. And while it is their first time meeting in this contest, I do have a couple of stats to throw at you, Juan. Indiana holds a 68-57 advantage all the time over Michigan State in basketball. But Michigan State holds a 49-17-2 advantage on the gridiron. So I'm excited to see who's going to hold the March to the Madness advantage after tonight. One more note, Alabama, you mentioned, did come on. Once again, it comes at the hands of Kentucky having yet another early tournament exit. It seems like March to the Madness, it doesn't matter. They're out early. So that's it for me. And, I had to take that dig. Sorry, Joe, if you're watching. But we will let's move on to Kerr. We'll come back to pick.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so in Kerr, we have the number 1 seed and Final Four contestant from last year, Winthrop, still alive here in the Elite Eight, against yet another surprise debut team at number 15, Miami, Florida. Winthrop has held serve and taken care of business without much of a scare so far in the region, taking out Louisville, Evansville, and then Youngstown State along the way. Youngstown did put up a little bit of a fight, but it just wasn't enough. You have to wonder if Winthrop is just cruising along with the rematch of Indiana circled on their calendars for the Final Four. It seems like they're kind of holding back and just skating by just to save it all up for that rematch. To get there, they're going to take.
Sounds like you're kind of gaslighting there a little bit, Ryan. I don't know if I like that. Winthrop's looking pretty good to me. I don't know.
I mean, they're still here, so. But to get there, they're going to have to take down the surprising Hurricanes from Miami. Miami did throttle Florida Southern in the first round and came out strong. They've certainly dispatched ETSU and Kent State the last 2 rounds. I'm really just not sure what to expect of them here. They're capable of putting up a big number, but it remains to be seen what their motivation is here, if they're going to come out strong and hope to win. So I'm excited to see. I really don't know what to expect. So, and I do have another stat for you again here. Believe it or not, these two have met on the basketball court one time before. December 29th, 2007. Miami was ranked 19th in the country. They were up double digits in the second half before the Eagles, Juan's favorite, Eagles or no Eagles, the Eagles. From Rock Hill stormed back to upset them. I'm not sure Miami fans even remember this because they probably prefer football to basketball, except maybe right now with the run they're on in the tournament. But maybe this gives them a little extra motivation here. Apparently, some people do hold grudges for 15 years. And as one of my favorite movies once quoted said, people don't forget. Juan, I know you're going to be sticking with your Eagles here. So we'll get to that.
I'm sticking with my Eagles, but, I mean, like you said, Miami's had a really good run, and even being a number 15 seed debut, I mean, they've done a hell of a job so far, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, great job by Todd Meismer and the Hurricanes. Just one other quick note from this region. I want to give Kent State a shout out for a great run by George Burke. They made it Sweet 16 this season. Ultimately, it looks like they may have just ran out of gas against Miami, but I expect to see them back next year stronger than ever now that they have a little bit of experience under their belt. So, Juan, do you want to take us on to Cockrell?
Obviously. Let's go. All right. What can I say? Texas Dallas came to do one thing and one thing only, and that was to prove you wrong, Ryan. They made it to the Sweet 16, of course, but however, they did fall to Northern Iowa. James Blandren really driving that team forward, and what more can I say? They accomplished their goal. They proved you wrong, Ryan. Of course, Northern Iowa. well, what?
I had a feeling that the winner of the Northern Iowa Maryland game was going to get Texas Dallas, and they did. So I was finally right involving something of Texas Dallas.
So I'll give you like a 25% on that one.
Well, I can die a happy man now. That's a good
Northern Iowa, of course, though. Is Northern Iowa coming in strong, though. They had tough battles all the way, especially up against Maryland. Texas Dallas, same way. So really looking forward to what they can do here in the Elite Eight moving forward in the tournament. But by no means, I mean, your favorites, North Dakota, coming in strong. This is finally their year, it might be, Ryan. You might be right. They might be moving on, might be doing something. They've already claimed their spot as the Dakota. What more can be said? I mean, they're ready to do some damage.
Yeah, one thing's for sure: the winner of the Dakota is a more prestigious award than the winner of the Bowling Greens. That's for sure. We'll come back to picks, but this one will be no surprise for me. Sure. Let's move on to Foster, and then we can go to picks. Talk about those matchups a little more. I mean, what can you say about Foster except for Oklahoma's been through the absolute ringer? I mean, they got everything they could handle from both Michigan State in the second round and another miss in the Sweet 16. You have to kind of wonder what they have left in the tank for what should be a really, really tough matchup here against Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska hasn't exactly had a easy path either. They had an absolute barn burner against Idaho the Sweet 16, and it might have been the best match I've seen in the last few years. Back and forth all day with neither team backing down, and they both wanted to keep going in the tournament. It's unfortunate one of them had to go home so early. And as I've given you guys all day, I'll give you some more stats here. As you probably know, Nebraska and Oklahoma are big rivals. You know, in the past, back when before Nebraska went to the Big Ten, you know, what was it, the Big 12, but formerly the Big 8, and also back when Nebraska was good at football. Though I do think they're on the right track here with Ross. I'm glad they decided to give him another year. Oklahoma holds the all-time record, 38-3. Nebraska holds the largest victory at 69-7 in 1997, and Oklahoma has the longest streak of 16 straight wins from 1943 to 1958. And these teams will meet again in Lincoln this fall. I'm excited to see who can take home the early bracket nights here. So, just a couple other notes from Foster. I mean, you can't pass by this region without giving a shout out to both Southern Miss and Idaho. Absolutely tough region this year, and I can't wait to see what both of these teams and alumni bases do in the future. This is their first time really participating in this tournament, and they did not disappoint. That has to be one of my favorite things about the tournament is we get new teams that are engaged every season, and they come back next year stronger than ever, making it every year tougher and tougher for these teams to win. So, Juan, let's go talk about our picks real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so why don't we just start off in Devoti?
All right, who you got?
Indiana, Michigan State. Well, obviously this is tough toss-up. I mean, Indiana really looking to become back-to-back champions. Michigan State making their debut. It's also the battle of our CEOs. I mean, you got Steve Mitchell up at Indiana. You got Greg Summers for Michigan State. It's going to be tough, but I think I'm going to have to go with the number 1 seed here and say Indiana's going to pull it over Michigan State. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Michigan State's been really impressive this year. You're going against the powerhouse of Indiana. I do think Indiana needs to be on their toes because by no means they're out early, 525-0. But by no means do I think Michigan State's going to throw in the towel here. So I think Indiana needs to be on their toes. We know they've been susceptible for a last-second buzzer beater before in previous years. So I think they need to be on their toes. I'm going to pick Indiana, pull it out. But I would not be surprised at all if the Spartans went on. So do we even need to talk about the bottom half of the region because we know who you're picking?
Yes, but I'm going to make a fun prediction because obviously everyone knows I'm going for Winthrop. But you got to let the Eagles fly. But I'm going to say it's a close matchup. I'm going to say they're going to be within $100. I think it's going to come down to the end, and it's going to come down to the wire, Ryan. I'm really thinking it's going to be a close matchup all the way through, and Winthrop's just going to come up just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's close right now. Winthrop's only up $40. So, like I said, I just don't know what to expect out of Miami here. I mean, they absolutely have the horsepower to just power through and send the Eagles home. But I'll say we get our rematch of last year's Final Four, Indiana and Winthrop on that side. So, Northern Iowa and North Dakota, we know who I'm picking here. I mean, North Dakota's been my pick to the Final Four since the brackets were released. And I think they get their first Final Four this year. They've been so close previous years. I just don't think they're going to hold anything back to get this first Final Four here. So I'm picking them. Also, Northern Iowa, very impressive run the last 2 years, but North Dakota.
I don't know. I think just for fun and just to say I can prove you wrong, I'm going to give it up to Northern Iowa this time.
Okay. You do that. And last but not least, does Oklahoma have enough to get through another powerhouse? What do you say, Juan?
I think Oklahoma's going to take it. They're definitely going to.
Keep in mind they're up 1,400 right now. So
you're saying it's close?
Well, we know Nebraska's got the firepower, so that's nothing.
That is true. I'm going to go with Oklahoma here, but I think Nebraska is going to give them a run for their money. I'm thinking it's going to be another close matchup. It's definitely going to be a buzzer beater for sure. I'm feeling something strong here.
Over under the amount raised in Oklahoma, Nebraska, over or under the Nebraska Idaho total, which I believe was
go over.
Over?
Yeah. I'm feeling over.
All right. Well, I hope you're right.
Thank you. That's positive. Look at you. You're a go-getter, Ryan.
Thanks. I've had 2 cups of coffee today. What can I say? Yeah, I can't pick against Oklahoma. Plus, I want my North Dakota boys to get revenge on Oklahoma for all those times that Oklahoma sent them home and kept them from their Final Four. Plus, North Dakota's they've been in the reserves. They haven't had really tough matches so far, so they might be like Winthrop, waiting in the wings for that Final Four.
Somebody say wings? They fly? Hoping they're flying?
Just a reminder from our producer, the 4 chapters who win the matchups today will be awarded 5% of that money that they raise in this round directly to their chapter education fund. So it's a little another fun incentive there. So, Juan, I'm ready to sign off. But before we do you happen to have any words of wisdom for the realm today on this glorious Tuesday?
Of course. Just like the great Dan Stanford said, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. That's all I got.
Who's Dan Stanford?
I'm not sure. That's a very good question. We might look him up. We might.
Well, I hope for your case he's not a bad guy.
Good point.
He may have wrote a book in prison or something, and that was his famous quote from the book.
I mean, it's a pretty good quote. I mean, you've been wrong this whole entire March to the Madness run, but you know what? You got experience for next year. I'm holding you to that.
Some things just never change. That's a quote from Ryan Gibbons. So, I think that's it for us today, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. If you're participating, best of luck in the Elite Eight. Also, a reminder: if you're watching this and your team's not in it, you can still participate. Pick your favorite team. Donate against Winthrop.
Are you calling out to Cody there?
Yeah, as Cody Del Mendo said, anyone but Winthrop. That's it for us, guys. I hope you have a great day. If you are in it, good luck. And we'll be back later this week to recap how the matches ended up and preview the Final Four with more stats and more words of wisdom from Juan.